Hey, what's up? Shane with Battlefield Decks and Patios here, and today we want to talk about how to choose the winning bid for your job. A lot of times when you are getting an estimate for an outdoor living project, sometimes it can kind of be hard to hear through the noise to see am I getting apples to apples on my bids? Is everybody saying the same thing? And it can kind of get a little confusing sometimes. So we've created a checklist for you to help you kind of hear through the noise and make sure that every time you know you can be confident with the bid that you got, and that will be the winning bid for doing your project. First thing that I always tell people to look for is, does their bid have clear itemized pricing? And here's what I mean by that. A lot of times people can get contracts where it's just this one enormous paragraph, like a bunch of run-on sentences with no clear delineation. And you're trying to read through this thing and comprehend what it is they are trying to sell you. That can be super frustrating as a homeowner because it takes a little bit more in-depth evaluation to kind of hear through the noise and be clear on, okay, yes, they are giving me the decking board I wanted and the railing that I wanted, and they're giving me the stairs that I've asked for. So we always say look for, if they have clear itemized pricing. For us, when we do our estimates always have clear itemized pricing. Here's how much the deck is, here's how much the stairs are, here's how much the railing is. There's no ambiguity there. So if you ever feel like you're having a hard time hearing through the noise, make sure you ask them to itemize the pricing so that you can see a little bit clearer and make it easier for you to kind of compare bids. The next thing we always tell people to look out for on their bids is, do they have a clear payment schedule? And one that makes sense, right? So usually if somebody's asking for a 50% deposit and then 50% on the back end, that can kind of be a red flag, because most guys that do that kind of stuff, you don't really know, are they going to follow through and get the job done? And so it's my opinion really that if you're going to have a contract with somebody to do some work, those payments on that contract should be based around a pay schedule that actually makes sense, and there's some progress that comes along with those payments that are being made. The one thing that we do here at Battlefield Decks and Patios is we do what we call a 30-30-30-10 payment program. And so we do a 30% deposit. That allows us to have some working capital to start pulling permits, getting design plans made, the soft costs up front that we may need to start the job, and to order the materials. The materials that we order always cost more than 30%. So by the time we order the materials and have them delivered to a job site, we're already behind on the job. And so for a homeowner, that's good to know that, hey, I've given them money to get started, but it's not so much money that if a company goes under, I'm out a small fortune. So make sure that the deposit payment is probably not more than 30%. If it's more than 30%, that's getting a little bit more risky on your end. And then so we do a 30% deposit. We do a 30% the day that we show up and start work. That's all the materials are on the job, all the plans and permits have been approved, and we have boots on the ground and we are getting stuff done. And then we do a 30% progress payment once we've reached a really large percentage of work done, so that by then you can see that, hey, most of this project has already been built. And then we do a 10% payment at the end, which is usually the last little bit of stuff that needs to be done on the job. For our clients, 30-30-30-10 works really well because they can see progress the whole way through the job and know that every time they make a payment, it's based on things getting done, not just front loading the contract to the contractor's benefit. The next thing that we also recommend for people is to make sure that the contract has detailed terms and conditions. What I mean by that is, when you look at your contract, there should be terms and conditions in your contract that will state what's in your warranty and, more importantly, what is not included in your warranty. If it's just a really generic, hey, we cover all warranty, our warranty covers everything for 5 years. Well, okay, what exactly is that? Because if their warranty is very vague, chances are they're probably not serious about warranting their work. So our contracts are very thorough to say what is warranted under our workmanship warranty and what is not warranted, so that way there's no ambiguity. And that way, when things happen, we know, hey, this is a manufacturing issue. We've got to get them involved to get them to, reimburse and pay for materials that are needed to fix things. Or if it's something that's on our end that we've done that needs to be taken care of, it's really clear when it's our responsibility to take care of it. And we make sure that people know that, we're going to stand behind everything that we do that we've built for you. So detailed terms and conditions, super important. It's like the old saying goes, the devil's in the details. Don't let anything be left out. If you feel like you're uncomfortable with it, make sure you have a really clear conversation with the person you're thinking about hiring. And so the fourth thing that we recommend is to make sure that the contract has what is called a DPOR compliant clause. So DPOR stands for the Department of Professional Occupation Regulation. They are the state regulating board that regulates licensing here in the state of Virginia. And so they actually require that every contractor has a clause in their contract that lets homeowners know where the contractor recovery fund is and how you can apply for it should a contractor ghost you or abandon your project. So the main part of the DPR compliant clause really is for you to know what your rights are as a homeowner and how to contact the state should the contractor end up being nefarious or walking away from the job or leaving you holding the bag or something horrible goes south. The contractor should have all of those details in his contract so that if something does happen, you know exactly who to contact and where to go. So if it doesn't have that DPOR compliant clause in there that mentions anything about DPOR and how to contact them and the contract recovery fund, chances are they don't really know what they should be doing according to the state. And if something goes wrong, you may not know who to reach out to and what to do about it. And so super important clause to have in a contract. I definitely would not sign one if it's not in there. So let's recap. The 4 things that you should look for when knowing if this is going to be a winning bid for you is, again, clear itemized pricing, clear payment schedule, detailed terms and conditions, and make sure it has that DPOR compliant clause in the contract every time. If you do that, chances are you'll have a very easy time hearing through the noise. You'll be able to see what it is you're paying for, and you will be able to be confident that you have the winning bid.